Well, I have to say I'm enjoying the cooler weather. And we begin this evening with our Shabbat service where we are starting the celebration for Lily as she becomes bat mitzvah. And with the, are we doing the full song?
Just nigun.
Just the nigun.
Nigun, Yedid Nefesh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you don't need their page. You don't need your prayer books. You can just sing along.
Yeah, it's not the Zweig melody at all. So
Okay.
I didn't know. Okay. What's that? Okay.
To bring up your sister, your mom, and your grandma to light our Shabbat candles. That's Bonnie, Shayna, Lily, and Jules.
Who gets the high-tech illuminating device?
Somebody's got to take it.
Adam, can we get the handheld?
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we be our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of their generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'tzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik li shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Towards the bottom of page 11, Ki Eshmera Shabbat.
Tila
pages 20 and 21, we welcome Shabbat as a bride with Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on the 9th verse, rise and face the entrance to greet the Sabbath bride.
Shabbat nakabala, lechadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, lechadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad, ishrianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'lithilah. L'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, l'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala. Likrat Shabbat l'chov ne'acha, kim kol ha'bracha, me'rosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. L'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, l'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala.
Verse 5.
Itorei, kiva ore, komi ori, ori, shitaveri, kavod Adonai alayik nekla. L'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, l'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala. Omi v'shalom b'ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, tov kemunei am segula, boi kala, l'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala, l'chadodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nakabala.
We welcomed Shabbat as a bride, and now we welcome the Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachem l'shalom, Malachei ha'shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hakuni l'shalom, Malachei ha'shalom, Malachei ha'shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shuvchem.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה. יעמד יפרח יגתה וימליך מלכותה. בחיי כל יומי כל ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב במהרו אמן. יהי שמרה במברה לעולם עולמי המיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשו בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה מעלמה במהרו אמן.
Please rise and body your spirit for Baruch, page 28. We join together in the middle of page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 32.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael. Please be seated. Page 136, or 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיום הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם על ידיך והיום לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי ויהייתם קדושים אלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אדוני אלוהיהם אמת.
Nicely done, Yasher Koach. Even Harrison thinks so. We continue on page 41. We join together, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once crushed by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאוליות גלומיה חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. At the top of page 43, we join together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu al kol amo Yisrael. Yerushalayim le'akol amo. Yerushalayim shalom. Yerushalayim le'akol amo. Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ועל כל עמו ישראל. Shalom aleinu ועל כל עמו ישראל.
We continue with Shamru, page 44.
B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתותם.
Please rise for the Amidah, page 46. Rise in body or spirit for the Amidah.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח הופיע, כי תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor B'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zokeh Kaseh Avot V'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מקיים הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מקלקל חיים וכסת, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue with our private prayers. When you've finished with your prayers, you may be seated.
We continue on page 60 with Shalom Rav. Mike's on. Oh, well. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon, Lakol HaShalom. Ki ata melech Adon, Lakol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'neka levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael
We turn in our prayers to the words of Mishaberach as we think of those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, or of spirit. If there's someone that you're thinking of at this time, I invite you to share their names with us.
So Ratliff and Gina led the party.
Page 253.
Source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing, Amen.
Take a few moments during each of our services to share blessings and moments of gratitude from the past week. If there is anything that you'd like to share, I invite you to raise your hand.
I'd like to. Oh, is it on?
Handheld?
Okay, can you hear me? Great. I would like to thank John Barnes, who happens to be my dad, for fixing the door on an emergency call this week when it was broken by the delivery people for the new desks in the Batwing. So thank you for doing that. I'm very grateful. And I feel like I had a lot of more people that I wanted to thank, and Randy Leifson and Jordan Harris for building desks today, and Dan and Hillary and Leo for helping in the Batwing over this week. There's been a lot of activity, and I'm very excited, and it's looking great. And I'm sure there's other people, and I'm sorry if I've forgotten you, but thank you to everybody.
Everybody that had anything to do with the Sunday barbecues, religious school event, I say thank you very much. Can't list you all off the top of my head, but I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there, 11:30 to 1:30.
This coming Sunday.
Day after tomorrow.
I'm very grateful to have seen some old friends last week that came for the mitzvah. It was very fun.
I had the pleasure of breaking my arm while jogging on Tuesday, and I'm very grateful to the orthopedic surgeon, anesthesiologist, and the hospitalist physicians who took care of me expertly at Allen Moore Hospital, who repaired the fracture, put in a metal plate, and discharged me the same day as the surgery.
I'm very thankful for an awesome friend and neighbor who noticed that I had not cleared all the things off my porch like the leasing office said, and they were starting the power washing with our building, so he took care of all of it for me and closed my sliding glass door for me while I slept right through it.
I'm very grateful for Lily's doing such a great job preparing for her bat mitzvah. She's going to do us all really proud tomorrow. And I'm very grateful for my wife for doing so much work to get this bat mitzvah happening. And yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. Thanks.
For all these things, we say, Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'el hodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are deserving of thanksgiving. So I discovered recently that stories that I thought everybody was familiar with are not, in fact, stories that everybody is familiar with. So I think I have found my Elul sermon, easy sermon group, which is going to be to tell some of the classic folk tales. And I'm going to get started with the one that I discovered that apparently very few people here know, even though it's not Elul yet. So there's this, and I actually found out some new information when I was looking up the actual story. There's a story told of a Jewish baker from 16th century Portugal. So if you remember 16th century Portugal, anyone remember what was happening in 16th century Portugal for Jews? They had been kicked out. The Jews who wanted to practice as Jews had been expelled, and the ones who remained had to practice in secret and often were forced to convert in order to remain in Portugal. So this Jewish baker from 16th century Portugal moved to the holy city of Tzfat in the mountains above the Sea of Galilee. Deprived in his youth of the opportunity to openly practice the religion of his ancestors, he was overjoyed to finally be able to do so. Shortly after his arrival in Tzfat, he heard a talk by the rabbi of the synagogue about lechem hapanim. Lechem hapanim is the showbread, the loaves of challah that were offered in the tabernacle and in the holy temple each Shabbat. After discussing the various laws and procedures governing the preparation of this offering and touching on its mystical significance, the rabbi shared how great it would be if we could once again make these offerings. The baker took these words to heart. The next Friday morning, he prepared 2 special chalot with the hope that God would consider them an acceptable offering. Early that Friday afternoon, when nobody was likely to be at the synagogue, the baker brought these loaves of challah under his cloak. He prayed for God to look upon his offering with favor and eat and enjoy the lovely, freshly baked bread. Then he placed the loaves wrapped in the holy ark beneath the Torah scrolls and quickly left for home. The shamash, the caretaker of the synagogue, arrived later that day to complete the preparations of the synagogue for Shabbat. One of his duties was to check that the Torah scroll was rolled to the proper place. But he was in the habit of offering a prayer to God before opening the ark. Often he prayed for a little bit extra sustenance to feed his family, especially going into Shabbat. On this Friday afternoon, after offering his prayers, the shamash opened the ark to see that a package had been neatly placed inside. He opened it, and there were 2 very fine-looking chalot. God had answered his prayers. The next morning, the baker came back for Shabbat services, and when the ark was opened for the Torah service, the baker was surprised and ecstatic to see that the chalot were gone. God must have accepted his offering and enjoyed the freshly baked bread. The next Friday morning, the baker once again prepared 2 more beautiful loaves, delivered them to the synagogue, and earnestly prayed to God for their acceptance. And that Friday afternoon, the shamash came along and prayed to God for food and sustenance, and found the chalot in the ark once again, and brought them home for his hungry family. And that next Saturday morning, once again, when the ark was opened for the Torah service, the baker noticed that God had accepted his offerings. And so it went on. Every Friday morning, the baker would bake extra chalot, put them in the ark. In the afternoon, the shamash would come, offer prayers of gratitude now, in addition to his prayers for sustenance, because he could finally feed his family for Shabbat. And then the loaves would be gone on Saturday morning, and the baker was sure that God had accepted his prayers, just as the shamash was sure that God had answered them. It went on like this for years. One version of the story says 30 years this went on. One Friday, though, the baker arrived at the synagogue a little later than usual. And the shamash arrived at the synagogue a little bit earlier to prepare for a special event. Just as the baker was leaving, the shamash entered, went up to the bima, went up in front of the ark, offered his prayers of hope and gratitude for the blessing of the weekly challah. And the baker overheard these prayers, saw the shamash opening the ark doors and reaching inside to take the challah. "What are you doing?" the baker said. "Those are for God." And the shamash replied, "I'm taking the gift of chalot that God gives me every week. God knows how hard I work to try to feed my family and how much I appreciate this gift of bread." No, said the baker. "I bake these chalot. God isn't giving you these chalot. I bake these chalot and give them as an offering to God, and God accepts them, which is why they aren't here in the morning." Except I take them every week, and I have for like 30 years. If you take them, God won't have my offering. Versions of this story take this in a very dark direction, which I'm not going to go into. But I wanted to pull out the idea in this story that we don't always know what is happening. The things we think are happening are not always the reality, right? The baker thinks that God is eating the challah, right? The shamash thinks that God has gifted him and his family the challah. But that's not what's been happening. And when they find out, the magic, the majesty, the miracle disappears. Again, one of the dark versions of the story has them stopping the challah exchange. And so now you've got a disappointed and rejected feeling baker and a hungry shamash once again. And actually the rabbi who yells at them both dies. Like I said, really dark ending. it is important to remember that sometimes it is better not to know all of what is happening. That what we wish we knew actually turns out worse. And I was thinking about this story this week because I know that there are so many people in pain and wanting to know what is going on behind the scenes in this community. And I want to encourage you to remember that it does not always make things better to find out all of what is happening. Sometimes it is better to remember that there are blessings and that we, in fact, can be blessings if we act that way. And I hope that we each are able to continue to be a blessing for this community. Shabbat Shalom. I would like to invite up Jeff Friedman, who is our board treasurer, to share some announcements. The other thing that I forgot to mention as I was telling the story is that it does in fact connect to this Parsha, Parshat Ekev, because we read over and over again about the manna that God gives us in order to sustain us and feed us through the wilderness. And if you look at some of the research, there is some evidence that maybe manna is the excrement of woodlice. And did you really want to know that?
Please.
Somewhere under all of these.
Okay, usually 16 copies. Nope. There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
And after talking about the excrement of manna, how about those mariners? Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Bruchim Habim. Greetings to those who are at home. Welcome to everybody, visitors, the extended Raphael family. Congratulations, Lily. So excited for tomorrow. Our services will continue tomorrow. We have Torah study at 9 o'clock, and then we have our bat mitzvah at 10 o'clock. I hope you can all join us, and those at home, hope you can join us. Lily's got some really good surprises up her sleeve, or so I've been told. Let's get to some announcements. Sunday, we have our barbecue. I believe it starts at 11:30? 12? Okay, 30. 11:30, yes. And we will have hamburgers, hot dogs, all sorts of chazarai. So just please be here. We're going to have a good time, and just be here. It would be great. There you go.
You have to say it though to the mic.
And it's all free.
No, bring dairy-free side.
Bring dairy-free side dishes, please. We are going to be making hamburgers, hot dogs, all sorts of other stuff. So please, and it's free, so just join us, please. Ladies Interfaith Tea coming up on Tuesday. We have the Coalition for Immigrant Justice coming up next Sunday, the 8th of September. We have some healing at BB Camp, which is where I grew up, and it's absolutely amazing retreat area. Shir Simcha Choir is starting their practices, and I understand that they are already starting to tune up for the holidays, so that's going to be fun. Adult education registration is underway for our classes coming up, so if you can, please consult the bulletin, please consult the weekly announcements for the various class offerings. Auditions for Fiddler on the Roof are coming up. We have a congregant who is going to be doing auditions in a couple of weeks. We need help setting up with onegs and cleanup, please. And finally, our fundraiser committee, getting ready for our big event in November, is meeting weekly. If you have any questions, if you'd like to volunteer your time, please see Marlene. She's got lots of ideas for for people to do their work, and that's about it for the week. So Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to Aaron Peterson for greeting this evening, to Adam for being on tech, Stacy for cleanup, and Vivian for setup as well as cleanup, and to the Rayfield family for sponsoring the ONEG. And Debbie. We return to our prayer books for Aleinu, page 282. Please rise and body your spirit as the ark is opened, and sorry to burst your bubble, there is no challah in there.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, לא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287. As we turn to Mourner's Kaddish, we think of those who have died in recent weeks. If I say the name of someone you're thinking of, I invite you to rise so we can acknowledge you as a mourner. We think especially of Frank Randozzi, the brother-in-law of Donna McKay Randozzi, and Jeffrey Rosen, the brother of Shelley Rosen. And we also think of those who died at this time in years past, whose yahrzeits occur in the coming week. Again, if I say the name of someone you're remembering, I invite you to rise. We think of Yoko Birnbaum, Irving Farber, Jim Harley, Robert Lawrence Hubbard, Fanny Jaffe, Matthew T. Kleinman, Selma Latchman, Nahum Mizrahi, Karen Nyman Mitchellman, Audrey Portnoy, Morris Rafelowitz, Saul Rothstein, Walter Sinsheimer, and Miriam Zorinsky. As we think of them, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing, and we rise to join our mourners so that no mourner has to stand alone as I offer the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei v'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei Shnei Rabba Mivarach Le'olam U'Almei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yithadar V'Yitale V'Yithalal Shmei Dekudasha B'Richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damiran Ve'alma V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, amen. We conclude this evening with Salam,
I don't know what page that's on.
which may not be on a page. Oh, it's on page 353. also known as Odyavo Shalom.
Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, Shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu, Odyavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'ri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotanu v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'chava u'matzon Hinhilanu Zikaron Lemase Bereshit Kihu Yom Tehile Lemai Chodesh Zeher Letzima Mizraim Kivanu Varta Velanu Mikol Hamim B'Shabbat Kodsha B'Chava Uratzon Hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim.
Page 300.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem me'aretz b'yedei hakol.
Shabbat Shalom B'Teva. Help yourselves to some challah.